And here we are live.
Hello, darlings. Happy Tuesday.
Indeed, coming to you. I never quite get your light right, do I? There you go. That's a little better.
My light, yeah.
Don't want to be
my motivation?
Don't want to be hogging spotlight from the real star here.
Oh, God.
Well, we are actually, this is going to be sort of a practice run. We're very honored to be invited next Sunday to the Virtual Fest, part of the Chicago. I don't know if we're allowed to say Beatle Fest anymore.
We are. To hell with them. Beatle Fest.
The Fest for Beatle fans is happening in Chicago, but it's also happening at a computer near you. And without further ado, one of the lovely Lapidos family, who are near and dear to our heart because they keep that Beatle flame alive around the decades and around the globe. So and the crowd goes wild. Put your hands together for the gorgeous, wait for this, Michelle Joni Lapidos. Here she is now.
Hello, darling. Hi. Good
morning. Hello there. Good to see you guys.
You put us to shame with your hair.
Oh, lovely. Fresh from the salon, actually. Had to do with the pink up for the weekend one more time.
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah.
So are you in Chicago already, or are you leaving New York soon?
I'm in New York still. I'm in Brooklyn, and I'm leaving tomorrow for Chicago.
Okay.
Yeah, big weekend coming up, huh?
It's a big weekend. It's wild. I'm like, I can't believe it's here already. We've been doing
all
the prep work, and then it's just, wow, here we are. All right.
Yeah.
And you know, I've done it my whole life, so I'm used to it, and also here we go. It's all new every time.
It's kind of got to be like a family reunion, right?
It is. It's definitely very like a family reunion. And this is going to be our first time back in 3 years. Like, you know, we haven't been to Chicago, which is crazy because we've done this every year. And so to come back and see everyone and the hugs and the music and the jams, I'm so excited. It's such a special group out there in Chicago, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
And I guess one of our dear friends from Houston, Mark Lindsay, he's on a plane without earbuds, so he can't listen. So let's wave to Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Mark on a plane. He's on the way from Houston to Vegas to Seattle to Alaska. So he's not going to Chicago this weekend.
Wow.
I bet he wishes he was. He's a huge Beatle. So who isn't a huge Beatle fan? I mean, I'm always suspicious when people say, oh, I don't like the Beatles. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with you?
delete. Yeah.
Well, I think it's really cool that so many people get to keep discovering the Beatles, and that's a lot of also our fan base is like people who have, you know, more recently happened upon the Beatles, and you know, it becomes part of their obsession and their psyche, and then they get to come and immerse in this world that's been, you know, blossoming for over 50 years.
Yeah, and there's nothing quite like being at the fest, is there? It's just amazing.
It's kind of a one of a kind thing. It's
something you never forget. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too, that I always think about the fest is it's not just the Beatles music, but it's like I said before, that it's created this sort of camaraderie of people that they stay connected now through social media and through Facebook. But your dad and mom and you and Tilly have done just an amazing service to not just the Beatles, but the Beatle fans. Oh, I'm going to make myself cry. But, you know, we miss seeing you. I wish we could go to Chicago this weekend. It's just a bridge too far. But when we used to come to New York and do all the LA ones, it was just, it gives you such an anticipation of something to look forward to. Yeah. Of just pure love, right?
Yeah, I mean, it really is so special. To have people who are, you know, not only just love the Beatles, but really there for each other. And yeah, you feel it on Facebook through the year. And to have that, you know, the Beatles tying us all together is just, who gets that? Like, it's so special. And
so I'm sure everybody knows this has been going on for a long time, but how did this start, and where were you in your and Tilly's childhood as siblings growing up amongst this whole crazy kind of psychedelic, you know, fest world? How did that affect your childhood, and when for you did it start? How old were you once you realized what was going on?
Well, my dad started it in 1974, and my mom, he had met my mom by like their second date was the second fest, and and then they just created a life out of making these shows together. And I didn't come along. They must have been having a real good time, because I didn't come along for another 10 years. And so I was born into a Beatles world. And like, this is just my baseline. Like, I don't even know another way to grow up besides having this enormous Beatles family and the festivals to look forward to a few times a year. I mean, I literally don't know anything else. And so this is like, but I can still like super appreciate it and feel like, you know, I mean, I guess there's different stages of how I came into it. You know, I know when I was 2 years old, I was autographing door prize cards and before giving them out. And I grew up, you know, on the stage, sleeping backstage, crawling under tables, and just, you know, being able to meet all these wonderful people. And I would also say that like I had a new, you know, coming close to the fest and an awakening around it around between like 2012 and 2014. And I'm, you know, really started to make things my own, like, you know, wanting to develop it in certain ways for the next generation, you know, developing more of the ashram presence and the spiritual side and tapping into like the messages that the Beatles have left us and like, what can we really do to like perpetuate this and, you know, make it real. Like, what does it mean? What's the mean? You know, like I developed the Fabratory, which is an experimental Beatles zone where we dissect these things and we do art about it. And it's, you know, I feel such a real connection to the Beatles storyline that I'm always figuring out. And that I get to also learn a lot from the guests and the stories that they tell every year. It's like, we're weaving together this tapestry. We have like what 45, 50 years of recordings of our guests and who's going to sit there and string to adventure. I mean, somebody eventually is going to figure it out to do that. But we have, you know,
I've been talking to your dad about that for 3 years, and he still hasn't given me an inventory because McCartney Studios would be prime to get that documentary made. Hello.
I mean, like, let's go.
Stick it in his ear again after the weekend, because I would just absolutely love to. I mean, what a jewel of archival stuff you guys have.
The archives are quite incredible. I definitely want to, you know, there's so much to do, and I definitely feel not like responsible, but like honored to get to carry that torch in the next way. And I do want to. Someone's asking how many fests there are to your Beatle Fest. I don't care about Beatle Fest. Yeah, there's 2 a year. We used to do them in LA every year, so there were more solidly 3 every year. We had sometimes 4. I know before I was born, they would do like 5 a year. So they've been all over. And I want it to grow in a way that it's like a whole, you know, I want it to be easy to do them everywhere all the time. And, you know.
Well, I think one of the things that the pandemic did as far as good is that it really, and we talked about this the other day, it really kind of opened up your audience worldwide to people who can't or would just never be able to travel to New Jersey or Chicago, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's so incredible about, like, I think the pandemic really opened up. It's like, oh, wait, we're all sitting in our homes, but we can actually all connect intellectually and as community and around things that we love. And of course, there's nothing like being in person, but I think it comes really damn close when you have a whole world out there of people who can tap into something.
Which, apropos, is what we're able to do. I mean, we're not able to get to Chicago this weekend, but again, honored to be asked to be in the virtual fest. And I hope you guys keep get going.
Fest through Sunday, and then we'll be able to beam you guys into different rooms so you can also be there with people in person.
Nice.
And it's just, like it's exciting. It makes me think about, you know, what the future that we must be entering into, where we're all just avatars and we can walk around a room and we see each other in our goggles, and there we all are. And
right. Well, that's one of the things that's
happening already. And, you know, how do we, when it gets more like widespread, you know, we can.
Well, one of the things that we are building that I haven't had a chance to fill you in on is with Aftermath Islands in the metaverse, we're selling plots of virtual land on Fab Island. And
wow.
when that's a little bit more developed, and you'll have your avatar, and there'll be wearables that are licensable wearables, and we're building a virtual Penny Lane, Strawberry Field, Abbey Road. There'll be a Maypan Gallery, a Mrs. McCartney's tea shop, all of that stuff in the metaverse. And you're not going to need,
calm down.
You're not going to need a helmet. No, we're already building this. We've been at it for
genius,
a year.
amazing. Fab Island.
Yes.
And you did it perfect. I'm so glad. Like,
right. And so if you want to go, if anybody wants to go to Aftermath Islands, either .com or .io, you can scroll around and find Fab Island, and all, come welcome one and all. There's going to be a Penny Lane roundabout and a barber shop, and you can buy a little plot of land and build a house or a shack, or there'll be a Mulligan tire, and there'll be a Savile Row and a rooftop and all that stuff. It'll be really fun. And the way we built it deliberately is you don't need a one of the helmet eyepieces, because they actually make me seasick. I can't get along with those.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So check out Aftermath Islands. Just Google it, and then Fab Island is in there. We definitely need a corner for the fest for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I mean, I've imagined, like, my whole mission in life is creating permanent magical culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's this, like, it's like the Burning Man meets like fest kind of community, and like the fun. It's the fun and the magic that we encounter, where we can create like our lives unfold in synchronicity, and we're able to like just meet the people we're supposed to meet and have a damn good time. And so, I've imagined having, I haven't really talked about this, but I've imagined having like a 24-hour fest land, like that there's a 24-hour place where the fest happens. And somebody else started a real magical mystery tour, which I also will shout out to my bus, Glinda the Good Bus, who is a rainbow unicorn bus that operates as a party bus in New York City, and is that bringing that magic and constantly like reminding people that we don't have a template for what life is going to be, and we get to create that, and we get to do that. And like the way that the Beatles like came out with like album after album, and it was such a different thing back then, like you put out an album and it goes through like the main news channels, and people buy it and hear it and consume it and hear it on the radio. It's like we could do like a Beatles album. I mean, we could do like that every 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that kind of impact. I mean, obviously it's like the Beatles impact, the Beatles themselves are
Sure.
Beatles.
I know. I wish as we've been building Web3 and NFTs, I've been working closely with the lovely May Pang and some Shannon and Eric Cash and some of the great Beatle artists that you guys know. I wish John Lennon was around, because his brain would just explode.
Oh, he would love it, wouldn't he?
Yeah. John would be just like, oh my goodness. And the weird thing is, when I've had a really intensive day with Martin, with my husband, and we've been brainstorming with the team at Aftermath Islands in Canada and Liquid Avatar, who are creating the avatars. There is not anything in this house like a bird, a parrot, nothing. And 4 or 5 days in the last 6 months, I found a white feather on the living room floor. So I don't know if I don't know if John's around, but why do I keep finding white feathers?
It's magic, and I totally like it's from John. Yeah, like he's leaving feathers for us. Like he's out there. He's here.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. So, who are the guests this weekend coming up in Chicago? I mean, everybody's probably got their tickets already, but if somebody wanted to roll up, are there still a couple of tickets left?
Yeah, I mean, you could still get tickets online. We have tickets available at the door. We have the virtual tickets available. You can get it any time for the weekend. But yeah, I mean, you can still get tickets. We have like the large wing of the hotel, so we have a little bit more space for COVID protection. But yeah, we have Lawrence Juber, we have Peter Asher, Billy J. Kramer.
Yeah.
We have also Greg Bissonette and Chris O'Dell.
Yeah.
And actually someone I'm really excited to have is Ava Cherry. She's never been a guest before, and she for those who don't know, she was David Bowie's muse / girlfriend, and she sang backup on Fame with Bowie and John Lennon.
Yeah.
And she actually has a book that's out called All the Glitters, which I resonate with very much.
Yeah.
And co-written with one of our Fest regulars. So she's going to be singing Fame and one of her favorite Beatles songs with Liverpool, of course, who is our band that plays every night and grounds the music for all the special guests who come to jam.
Right. Is Mark Lewison going to be there?
Yes. Mark Lewison.
Yep, Mark Lewison's going to be there. Mark Lewis is also working with me on a project that we're doing with so we're turning the Fabratory into a desk this year. It's going to be like kind of in the main space so people can like interact better and kind of like bringing more creativity and fun things happening all over, like surprises. But we're doing also between that and the ashram, we're investigating like how, the Beatles revolution in the 60s and the 60s revolution in general was awesome. And how do we truly step it into the game to be the revolution of today? Like what are we doing and what are the actual steps we take? And how do we, and so there's like going to be a few things happening over the weekend with Mark Lewison also, and other guests who are involved naturally, coming up with a plan. Say you want a revolution.
Say you want a revolution. Absolutely right. Some other dear friends of ours are going to. Simon Weitzman, who is producing a fantastic fan film.
Yes, we're so excited to have.
I've only seen our little bit, but I can't wait to see the whole thing.
Yeah, we have the full premiere happening Saturday night.
Yep, true labor of love. And also Imagine and Wonder Publishing, Stephen Wilson is going to come into town. He's going to be there, and he is going to be publishing Angie's next book, which is almost finished. She's writing about everybody in the Beatles orbit that she's met personally. It's from celebrity fans to insiders to fifth Beatles to the musical family. It's called There Are Faces I Remember. So I'm sure we'll be able to to have that on the Fest website, as well as right now on the Fest website. Shameless. You can actually
plug it. Your mother should know.
Your mother should know. You have that in the Fest website bookstore as of now. So if anybody wants to order any autographed copy of those, and if anybody's going to Liverpool next year, it's a little late for Beatle Fest now, but there's another one here called Here, There, and Everywhere, which is a day tripper's guide to the Fab Four locations. And each one of the locations in the book has a QR code which scans to a web page on McCartney.com with more information and videos and all that stuff. So, and then they're taking, I think, pre-orders for Angie's next book, There Are Faces I Remember. And I'm doing all of the artwork in Photoshop and Illustrator, and I'm doing digital paintings of people. Because I think it's more aesthetically pleasing, and B, I can't afford, because there's hundreds of people in the book, I can't afford to pay Getty $1,000 per image for the license fee, and Getty's got enough money. I figure we'll do it ourselves and it'll be art.
I love that. Yeah, make it an art book. That's so great.
Yeah, and stories about Angie's experiences with people and how the Beatles
some of them.
Or some,
not all
the experiences.
Gotta keep some of them as a secret, right?
That's right. Absolutely. You got a visitor there?
Do I have someone coming in? I'm like, wait, who's falling? See. Yeah, so your hairdressers.
Oh, I see. Hello. Gotta have a bodyguard at all times. When you
yeah, totally.
Must be a rock star. So are the folks up in Chicago already, or are you all leaving together?
Yeah, the folks are there. They left yesterday. They've arrived. They're getting settled in the hotel and making the first things happen.
What a huge production, especially after a 3-year gap. It must be kind of daunting to get back in the saddle, right?
Yes and no. I mean, it definitely keeps it very exciting. It's not like we've stopped the flow of like coordinating with schedules and guests and emails. It's kind of like it's weird because it almost doesn't even feel like there's been a break. I feel like we've just been going. I don't. Time is
have,
like that. No.
Yeah. And so is Tilly going too?
Totally. Yeah. Tilly's
Good.
going. Tilly's also has been really great with the virtual fests and.
They're amazing. I was telling you the other day when COVID hit the fan and the first fest went virtual, I was talking to Tilly a lot about, good God, how do you learn Zoom in 5 minutes, and the hosting rooms and moderating people and letting people in and out and charging money and tickets, and they've got it buttoned up. So give them my love, please.
I sure will. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm only sorry this is making me sad now. I'm like, Chicago. Well,
get a ticket. Come on, let's go.
Don't tempt me. You just stranger things have happened. So, but we are going to be doing a virtual tea on Sunday, correct?
We are, yes. A virtual tea and maybe some in and out times, in the day. We'll have different activities going on. So
okay.
And we'll be putting out like an official virtual schedule also, so people will be able to plug into certain things that are exclusively virtual.
Great.
Fine.
So who? I'm going to put you on the spot, and you don't have to answer. But Liverpool aside, because they're amazing, have you ever really just laughed out loud or had a favorite, most memorable guest over all of the years that just still kind of knocks your socks off?
Oh my God. I just love Neil Innes.
I was just going to say.
How sweet to be an idiot. Oh, bless him. God. I loved him.
We were on a panel with Neil, Louise Harrison, Angie,
Pauline
Sutcliffe, R.I.P. And
Jerry Marsden.
And Jerry Marsden, R.I.P. And Neil, R.I.P. And Neil said something silly and very British that just gave Louise Harrison the giggles, and then she caught them, and then I caught them. And the whole panel and the whole room, we just fell to pieces.
Have you ever been in church when you're not supposed to laugh and something gets you going?
Like at a wedding?
And you're like one of those. Yeah. And we just wrecked the whole thing. I think we tried to bring it back into the line, but we were almost wetting ourselves. Well, some of us were.
I think Wally P was the moderator, and in the end he caught the giggles, and we were just this big mess, and nobody knew really what the joke. It was something about putting something in a shop window,
rumbelows,
or rediffusion window or something. But Neil Innes, what a piece of work!
It was lovely. Yeah,
he's hilarious. Do you remember what fest that was? Or
I don't.
They all kind of blend together. I'm just thinking about the archives and where do we start?
Yes, I know.
I don't even know if there was a video in the room. It was that far back. It might have been taped, but oh boy, Neil. When I went to England, we were living in Nashville after the earthquake. We lost everything in LA and we moved to Nashville. And I went to England with a collector and filmmaker. You may know him, Ken Barker. And he's also a filmmaker. And we rented the best broadcast quality Betamax video camera you could in those days. It was probably 1995. And we spent a couple of days. We spent the 2 nights with Cynthia Lennon and then her then husband, Jim. So we have the final, the interview and the tapes of that. And then we spent 2 days out in the rural middle of nowhere at Neil Innes's and his wife's farmhouse. And he had all of the Ruttles come over. And we interviewed them for hours out in the garden with copious amounts of food and beverage. And it was just the best time. I'm so lucky I got to do that. He was just such a talented and lovely, lovely man.
I love the Ruttles too. Do you remember when that whole thing started with Eric Idle?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rutland. So for the fans who don't know, Rutland is the smallest county in England. It's like Rhode Island, right? Rhode Island is to America, and so he was looking for a name that sounded like the Beatles, and he happened to be, I think the story goes, he was either driving through Rutland County or on his way to do a gig in a pub somewhere, and he's like, "That's it, the Ruttles." Yeah. And so they dropped the T and off they went.
Yeah.
Amazing. It works.
Yeah, it's worth Googling. If you don't know the Ruttles, look them up.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so amazing how many avenues have opened up for creativity around the Beatles, and the inspiration that, that has transpired in so many directions by every generation.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing that both Paul and Ringo are still at it. Yeah. Octogenarians, and they're still at it.
They don't know what else to do. I mean, Ringo never got his hairdressing certificate.
No.
What I mean, keep on rocking it out. Like that's
absolutely.
Until you absolutely can. Like, what kind of fun is it to not do that? Like, do the thing. I mean, Paul he doesn't even have a sip of water for 3 hours. I don't know how he does it. It's how does he do it? I mean, I can't even get to this interview without.
Yeah, no, I know, me too. It is amazing. We Ringo's just also guested on one of our clients' latest albums, Edgar Winter, who Sammy is on. Sammy is the brains behind Edgar's socials, and Ringo and Steve Lukather and Kev Moe and a whole bunch of amazing people played on Edgar Winter's new album. So Ringo's out even doing side gigs. The album is called Brother Johnny, and it's a tribute to the late Johnny Winter. And Ringo just bashes the snot out of the drums. You'd never guess he was looking at 80 when he did it. Or he was 80 when he did it. He's just turned 82.
82, that's right.
So he's...
80 is the new 50? I mean, something like that.
Well, she's 92.
I'm 92. I'll be 93 in November.
Incredible. And just amazing.
Angie's advice is make sure you hydrate.
Okay. Down.
I read a lovely quote this morning from W.C. Fields, the old comedic actor. He said that somebody went in his dressing room once and knocked over his bottle of scotch, and they lifted it up and got it back on the table quick before he saw it, but didn't put the cork in it. So when he came back in, he said, "Who's taking the cork out of my breakfast?"
That's how you stay young. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, God. We met W.C. Fields' grandson yesterday at our local little pizza place around the corner here. And some of the stuff he was telling us about the old days. And again, the W.C. Fields family, they're like the Lapidos. They have an archive. They've never thrown anything away. They've got every check he wrote, every contract he signed, everything. And so please, when your dad and mom come up for air, let's have another call about that archive, because I'm sitting right here in Hollywood, and I'm the co-owner of a video studio. So
and you are doing all the things. It's just amazing. So might as well do more of the things.
I would love to bring just the sheer amount of hard work and footsteps and heartache and triumph and tragedy and pain and whoopsies and whatever that the Lapidos family have been through for this thing called, the Beatles it's truly amazing. You guys are just to be applauded. Every Beatle fan on the planet wouldn't have the same experience without you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, you're like family to us. So.
Yeah.
And you managed to have time to have a baby.
Yes.
I mean, come on. Just I
have a baby. He's one. Yeah, that's been, a whole nother level. And he just
I saw a lovely photograph
for all the Chicago folks to meet Skylo.
Yeah. I saw a lovely picture of your mum and dad who had him for the weekend and how they survived or coped. But it must have put new life into them as well.
Oh my gosh. I feel like my work here is, I've done my work. They have an amazing grandson, and it's really cool.
It's lovely.
He's playing the drums. He's playing instruments. He loves piano. He knows how to strum the guitar. He's another level, and I'm just
absolutely the next generation. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Well, Rachel is sending love.
Rachel, yes, love you. So much love, Rachel. Yeah.
Well, I know you're a busy girl, and I know you're in the middle of your beautification. So thank you so much for taking time out to join us here on TeaFlix.
And I also just want to give a shameless, also heartfelt shout out. Mark Hudson's also one of the best people who has ever graced the fest, and he produced my album Swimming in Rainbows, and I got to have that experience, and he produced 9 albums with Ringo. And
yes, I know, one of the all-time greats.
Super talented. He's amazing. I just want to know how he gets that beard done.
Probably have to get my hairdresser here. She might be able to.
Yeah, there you go. Not that I'm thinking of growing a beard.
Oh, I am all the time.
And just growing one by accident.
Not by the hair, my chinny chin chin.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yep, that's wild. And Jeanette's saying she misses Mark at the fest. So.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Sammy adores Mark Hudson. Lots of love for Mark. Absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody go to thefest.com. It's the easiest name.
Come this weekend, whether you're there in person or virtual. Tell your friends. We don't want anyone to miss it. We have such great things going on. I will be there on your screens and beyond, and we're gonna have a blast.
Yes,
absolutely.
And I will see you on Fab Island.
Okay, yes, we'll see you on Sunday.
And we'll see you all hopefully on Sunday. Go grab your tickets and let's take a ticket to ride, baby.
That's right.
See what I did there?
Okay.
Thanks, kids, for tuning in.
Thank you for everything you do and for having me today. Much love.
Oh, much pleasure.
Love to the fam.
All right, darling. Bye-bye. Bye now.